Hello, I'm Dr. Jigare Pancha, an occupational therapist. So here I have got you the another video of infections and tumors of musculoskeletal system. There are many more videos to know more things. Stay tuned to our channel. So thus in the previous lecture which I conducted, in that we have discussed certain say bone development around the fracture in the case of infections, means after the fracture why the healing doesn't happen on efficient time. It's maybe because of delayed union, non-union. Malunion is a different condition where there is a misalignment of the joint which are united compared to the normal anatomical alignment further. So but there is a delay union, there is a non-union. In delay union, the union will occur but it will take longer to its usual time, maybe more than 6 months or 8 months, whereas in the non-union there is totally no union of the fracture, and it doesn't heal because of the infections which develop between the articulating and the fracture sites, and which does not allow to form the better medium for the development of the fracture of the bone. So initial inflammation, callus formation, then remodeling, so that phases doesn't occur in proper order, and because of that issue the fracture healing is impaired and is restricted and takes longer and sometimes doesn't unite. So that all things were discussed yesterday. And further there is I have also described a confirmation of the infections and post-traumatic arthritis, also antibiotic therapy which is indicated in this kind of issues. And there are certain duration of the therapy and the problems, that is more of the that curative therapy typically lasts for around 6 weeks, and for the post-traumatic infections a longer period is probably advisable in the cases of say osteomyelitis, and as well as that have persisted for the decades. So suppressive therapy is continued until the fracture consolidates and the osteosynthesis material is removed. If the implants are involved, then the therapy is administered uh, parenterally for 2 weeks. And osteomyelitis without implants may be treated orally of the entire duration of the therapy, provided appropriate antibiotics with good bioavailability are available for the pathogens based on the resistance testing. So the clinical presentation of the acute infections following osteosynthesis has changed, and that also because of the systemic use of the antibiotics prophylaxis, and infections that can be detected within the first few weeks, if you say, have become rarer. So while infections with delayed presentation and less clear infection symptoms have become more common. So as a result, delayed detection of the slowly developing infections or the use of the empirical antibiotic therapy prior to the confirmation of the diagnosis have unfortunately become more common. So because patients are generally discharged early from the hospital, the role of rehabilitation specialists or of ours and the general practitioner is critical for early detection of the infection. This is all what we discussed yesterday. So for the today we have things to discuss is early presentation of the infected osteosynthesis and certain indications of acute treatment protocols. So here you are having certain pictures of on the left side you have various images of the early first presentation, that is acute infection at 6 days, elbow infection at 10 days, or infection at 14 days, and that looks very different. So in this you have some clinical symptoms and diagnostic procedures, that is medical history and clinical findings. So pain after few days, sudden discharge of pus or gradual increasing swelling with newly exuding wound. So these are all the indications of the infections as you see. So impaired wound healing, hematoma, arrhythmia, swelling, excessive heat. So as you see these things, so there are certain issues which are which are supposed to be highlighted at certain point. Arrhythmia, again I like to say, that is superficial reddening of the skin, usually in patches, as a result of injury or irritation causing uh, dilatation of the blood capillaries. So that is what the arrhythmia is. So I'll just repeat again for you. That is superficial reddening of the skin, usually in the patches, as a result of injury or irritation causing dilatation of the blood capillaries. And so these are certain factors which you see here in this form. So this are generally shown in this figure of on the left side, which is in A, B, and C. That you have acute infection, that is on the A image, that is of at 6 days, and B is elbow infection again at 10 days, and C is infection at 14 days. So this is how it looks like when you encounter with certain kinds of infections. So there are so not only the individuals who is not healing, but also with that, it's not that you wait for say 4 to 6 months and you see whether it's healing or not, and if it's not healing you decide it's infection. But before doing so, there are certain signs and symptoms, there are certain physical features on examination or observation you can see, and with that also you can easily rule out that there is certain kind of infection, so it can be treated further to avoid this kind of conditions of malunion or delay union. So that's why early detection through these signs and symptoms, say pain, redness, discharge of pus or exuding wound, and hematoma, delay in wound healing, arrhythmia. So this is all what we see: swelling, excessive heat at the initial stages. So there are certain important things that is always which examine for the patients for post-traumatic arthritis in the cases of intra-articular fractures. So there are certain kind of laboratory tests, if we see, which are also taken carried out at the initial stages, that is elevated blood cell counts, or left shift. CRP remains elevated in the follow-up examination or increases again secondarily. So that is all what we see for the investigations. In radiological examination, there is X-ray. See, in orthopedic condition, X-ray is very much important at the radiological examination, because that gives you a clear picture of the musculoskeletal structures beneath, and its alignment, its proper positioning and fitting. So everything is seen, and X-ray is very much important in all case of orthopedic condition or musculoskeletal problems. In the case of hand fractures, or if you want to see there is any mild union of the fractures, so that everything is seen in this orthopedic examination, or due to radiological examination, X-ray. So X-ray is the osteosyn. So in X-ray, but there is a thing, that is the osteosynthesis stable. So is the involved joint reconstructed anatomically? Additional imaging, say within the first 2 weeks, is of less importance than the interpretation of the clinical symptoms by an experienced clinician. So changes in the lab values, that is CRP or WBC counts, are to be observed for the initial stages of these things. So that's all gives the whole picture of the investigation and certain point of views of this kind of issues, and at certain point. And here you can see there is a kind of a healing issues over here because of the fracture. So there, in the next slide I'll be talking about the indications for the active treatment. What are the indications? But here main our purpose is that we in this time we help the individual to maintain the personal ADL and the instrumental ADL of at least maintaining their cells and the house in which they are residing for these purposes. Basically, the basic ADL, as I discussed previously in the previous lecture, about their grooming, their self-care, their hygiene, their toilet training, as well as dressing, bathing. So this is all very much important, because if the hygiene is not maintained, then infections, chances of infections are much higher, because already they are suffering from one. So in that cases, it is very much vital to do in that forms and to help the patients in the obstructing the progress of the infections and certain problems. So that's why we are supposed to take care of the individuals in this fashion and in this form, to help them to grow better and to have a fast healing compared to other things. So initially the uh, overtaking the infection is the first priority, which is very much important at the certain point of time. So let's discuss further about the indications of the active treatment involved in the fractures or the infections of the post fracture conditions and certain others. So here we'll discuss about indication of the active treatment, that is active inflammation in the surgical field with the differential diagnosis of post-operative hematoma. Also suspected infectious uh, arthritis with status post-osteosynthesis of a joint fracture, wound with impaired healing combined with elevated inflammatory markers. So these are certain indications for the active treatment. Also, we will discuss about surgical treatment used in debridement, bone transplant, plastic defect closure, prognosis and complications of this. So, as there were three indications: acute inflammation in the surgical field with differential diagnosis of the post-operative hematoma, so suspected infectious arthritis with status post osteosynthesis of a joint fracture, wound with impaired healing combined with the elevated inflammatory markers. So these are certain indicators of the active treatment. So here in this diagram you can see there is a 66-year-old lady female with the A image represents about the lateral tibial plateau fracture. Then you have image B, that is aligned and supported by osteosynthesis. Then in this image C, you have acute infection in 18 days before and after surgery, surgical revision with debridement and drainage for 3 days, leavage with antiseptic, amoxicillin and clavulanic acid, and then flucloxacillin 4, and little ciprofloxacin and rifampicin PO for a total of 6 weeks. Then in D image, if you see that there is uh, a situation which have the 4 months before the metal removal, and E is symptom free after 1 year. So this is how it looks like, and after the operative procedures at certain point. So the thing is that the debridement. So debridement is intended to remove the hematoma, collective tissue for microbiological examination and the histological diagnosis, and verify that the osteosynthesis device is stable and seated correctly. So the start with the uh, empirical or targeted antibiotic therapy following diagnostic tissue collection. So that is followed by extensive drainage and wound closure, provided this can be done without uh, introducing tension into the soft tissue. So if the closure is not possible, application of antiseptic trap or a negative pressure dressing is immediately followed by planning of the closure together with a plastic surgeon within 8 weeks. So this is how it happens, because in every procedure it is very much vital to consider that the infection should not set in, because the infection sets in, then it not only hinders the healing process, it also delays it. Also there are chances of spreading of infection in further points, and also because of this conditions, there are the patient also suffers. There is a loss of time, loss of money, and lots of stress is induced. And also at the initial stage, without overcoming to the infection, there is not a single chance of overcoming the problems. So that's why to overcome the infection is very much important. Filter bone transplants is very much done, so this should be usually be avoided in the early stages of infections, if we see in this form. So that's why the bone transplants is very important to consider for the surgeons, that when to perform and when to not perform in case of the occurrence of the infections. Uh, so basically the goal should be that uh, there should always be in full length reconstruction, and depending on the extent of the defects. So that is more of a for the bone grafting and measures. So analogous cancellous bone grafting, preferably from the posterior iliac crest on the same side with the defects with no or only limited loss of length. As an alternative, complementary measure bone meal harvested by intramedullary remaining of the femur and can be used. So if there is a segmental defect, it is advantageous to distract the defect zone somewhat initially so that it can be compressed again after 6 to 8 weeks. It can be assumed that the graft will begin to stabilize the defect zone at 1.5 to 2 months. So the reconstruction around the central intermedullary nail and silicon tube or cement nail reduces bone graft volume and supports long bone repair. So this is just I need to discuss. I just want to discuss about the bone grafting procedures at initial stages of this thing. Further, you have plastic defect closure. So when indicated, this can be performed following surgical management of arthritis or osteomyelitis and initiation and supportive antibiotic therapy. So in this kind of therapies, it is to be considered because any foreign body or a particle, if we are involving in this procedures of healing, there will be an issue in the uh, chances of fracture or infections or healing or any kind of problems. So that things to be considered. And if we say that in addition, the soft tissue status must allow for defect closure. So this cases mainly involve the use of split thickness skin grafts, that is mesh graft basically we say, and local rotation flaps, that is gastrocnemius muscle flap, and or wing flaps. Some more elaborate procedures are rarely necessary except in cases of open fractures are very much uh, 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 tethered compared to the closed fractures, because what happens in open fracture, it deforms the skin and the structures beneath, and in that cases it is very much important to first align the skin to articulating surfaces and to uh, arrange the internal structures and to fix the internal structures for further procedures. And so this how the things are done. More to elaborate the procedures are rarely necessary and except in the cases of open fracture. So further, there is a prognosis and complications. In prognosis, if you see, the earlier the detection, the sooner the surgical debridement, and in turn the better the skin closure and the removal, and the more targeted the antibiotic therapy which follows by which is conducted by the doctors at this stages. So that's why the early detection is always very much important in any condition, not only in this condition, but early detection is the major key, is the primary prevention basically, early detection. So the sooner the surgical debridement, the better the skin closure and the more targeted antibiotic therapy. So there are only three ways of in the musculoskeletal injuries basically, if we talk, that is CTD, cumulative trauma disorders, and any other work-related musculoskeletal disorder. There are, we generally talk about three measures, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary preventions. So in that prevention, it is very much. So here, as such, already that there has been a fracture, there has been an injury, but still, early detection is very much important for other things to be in a synchronized way. And then the more favorable of the prognosis occurs for the rapid healing of the infection and the prevention of infectious arthritis, because whatever happens, first of all we should prevent the infection. If by chance if the infection occurs, then we have to get rid of it as early as possible, because a presence of infection is not at all tolerated in any condition, not only in musculoskeletal conditions. And also, if you talk about the complications, that is undetected infectious arthritis with secondary arthrodesis, occurrence of difficult to treat bacteria, or sequestration of large necrotic bone fragments, uh, transition to infected non-union to chronic osteomyelitis, follow inconsistent therapeutic attempts using surgery and the antibiotics. So this is how the complications which takes place in the occurrence of the infections and other such kind of uh, unknowing or unplanned issues. Sorry, the issues are not planned, but the unwanted issues basically. And that's what means if in the medical condition the occurrence of the infection is very much prone, and that is to be taken care at any point of time, at any situation. So this is what I'll be discuss. I have discussed about the today's lecture. This is all about for the today's lecture, and that's it for the today's video. And in the next we will be discussing about delay about first presentation, that is infected non-union, clinical symptoms and diagnosis. Also we will be discussing certain surgical treatment indications of this thing, bone grafting, stabilizations, and certain procedures which are used in bone graft with this kind of clear images, and same prognosis and complications. Then further we will be discussing last first presentation, chronic post-traumatic osteomyelitis, and similarly their client signs, symptoms and further things. So this is all about the today's lecture, and we will be continuing next in the part 6. Thank you. And I have added certain references for your reference, and you can go through this for further deeper understanding of the topic. Thank you. Thank you.